Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you guys already know. Like a mother. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Of course, indubitably, that's the remix in the Menudo style in direct fashion. I got something to talk about today. We're going to get straight into it. Something that's been weighing heavy on my heart. I'm going to put it out there. I know a lot of you have noticed, and so I definitely have. As you can tell by that thumbnail right there, we're talking about Raza, the blood era, right? The Sangre era. What is happening nowadays? Why is the Raza losing its identity? Yes, indeed, I wrote graffiti on the bus, and I'm going to tell you right now, in a Menudo style, it's ugly. It's ugly nowadays. And it ain't happening everywhere. Don't get the game twisted, man. Don't get your panties in a knot, right, Sasuke? But it's happening. You know, slowly but surely and even progressively, it is happening. And I'm noticing it. A lot of people are tapping in with me. They're saying, man, a lot of people are flipping to Bloods. It's become mainstream to be a Blood nowadays. Now, I remember back in my days in the early 90s, the Caribs were the deepest predominant group when it came to the Africanos, right? And wasn't nothing wrong with it. The Sangrias that were around, and yes, there were Bloods, man, no doubt about it, were with the business. Oh, yes, they're here. The Sangrias were here. Yeah, they were definitely with the blood business. There was no doubt about it, man. Pyrus, Bloods, Damus, whatever you wanted to call them. Growing up in the era of gangbanging in the 90s, being around, being incarcerated, going through the youth authority to prison, I met a lot of good Sangrias, man, from Inglewood Family, from Skyline Pyru, from Eastside Pyru. Of course, I met Vatos from Crenshaw Mafia Blood. I could tell you a story about that. I remember the first time that I met a Vato named Little Lunch Meat from Crenshaw Mafia Blood in South Central LA. I thought it was bullshit. I called bullshit on it because I seen Boys in the Hood just like everyone else. And when he said, hey, I'm from Crenshaw Mafia Blood, I said, nah, the wind ain't blowing. Why are you making shit up? You don't watch that movie all of a sudden. He goes, nah, that's a real hood. Bang, bang. It definitely was, and I definitely was in the wrong, right, for questioning them. But even before that, I met several Sangrias, man, that I had a lot of respect for out of the San Diego area, Oceanside, all the way to Pacoima. You know, even Whack 100 was out there representing his Pyru, right? Ugly than a motherfucker, but he was doing it. Now, trip out. That's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, man, whatever the gente wants to do, whatever them people want to do, right? You got to respect it, man. If people want to be Bloods, they could be Bloods. If they want to be Crips, they could be Crips. If they want to be North or South, they could do that too, man. Everyone is entitled to do what they want to do. And for the most part, people are products of their environment. So where are your motherfucking antennas when you're growing up around a lot of Sangres, but you're being a Carib? It ain't going to happen, man. That usually doesn't work out good in your behalf. So people could be what they want to be, man. I'm not here to knock the next man for what they choose to be in life. You know, you could be a fucking doctor, an astronaut, or a fucking peyoya on the corner. Either way, you're going to be something. You need to make something out of your life instead of sitting your fat ass on your mama's couch all day eating fucking Takis and Cheetos, right? And I'm just saying, though. You know what I mean? But you don't hear me at all. Now, trip out. What I'm noticing nowadays with this era is there's a big difference. Things have shifted. Gangs have changed. Now, I'm not here to advocate for the progression of gangs, right? If you want to do that, man. Get your issue on, boo-boo, handle your business. But at the same time, when it comes to the Raza, I'm very sentimental about my people, right? I'm brown, and I'm proud. Want this chigazo, Simona said, let's get down, right? Don't. Orale, Kid Frost, right? And I like to be in touch with my cultura. I like to be in touch myself with the historia and the history of the people that I'm derived from, being the Mexicanos, the Aztecas, the Mayans, the indigenous people, the natives, right? We all got a little bit of warrior blood in us, man. How we proceed with that sangre and how we put it to use is totally up to us, to me and to you. But what I'm noticing is this hip-hop era, Simon, Nipsey Hussle, the hip-hop era has changed the game drastically. It seems like everybody wants to be what they see on TV. Now, back to my days, MTV, Holmes was, we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. It was nothing but a bunch of gabachos on there with crazy ass wild hair and makeup on, screaming into a microphone. This is what happened when, then all of a sudden, you know, I'm gonna keep it realer than real to Holyfield with 2 ears. Yo MTV Raps came on, and everything changed. Everything changed. All of a sudden, motherfuckers thought they were Dr. Dre and Fab Five Freddy. Real talk, you know what I mean? Don't believe the hype. I said, don't believe the hype. This is what everybody was on. And I myself was watching Yo MTV Raps with the best of them. A lot of you youngsters that you don't even know what Yo MTV Raps is, Dispensa la tira. I ain't got time to explain it today, so I'm pressed for time. But at the same time, we'll get into that one of these days when we do pop culture. That's when things started to change. That's when the movimiento started to change. The movement, right? The movimiento. Spensa. I can't speak Spanish that good. That's when it started to change. And I noticed a lot of younger people from younger generations were adapting to what they seen on TV. You only know what you see, right? You don't see what you know. A lot of people were not getting educated. They were not identifying with their cultural roots. Okay, now ain't nothing wrong with the little bump and grind. Ain't nothing wrong with trying to be someone you're not, man, because you never know, man. You might like that. To each their own. If you like it, then go ahead and get that. I'm not here to knock the next man for race trading or what people like to say. Charlie, man, they ain't got nothing to do with none of that, man. We're all one race. We're all the human race, right? But as a people, as the raza, my gente, I have to say, straight up, I'm pretty disappointed. I'm disappointed not in the fact that you're choosing to become a sangre or a cripa. Yes, I say cripa, not cripo, right? A cripa. But that you're choosing to minimize the contribution of the Mexicano and the Raza plight into America, to what we've been doing for a long time. Sabes que our culture is a beautiful culture. Our cultura is one of the most beautiful culturas ever established on planet Earth. Vatos, yes, I said whether it's round or flat, doesn't matter, man. On this planet right here that we dwell on, our culture is a beautiful one. And everyone else's is too. I'm just speaking on our behalf, for the people, by the people. But I will say this, I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it. I think the first time things took a cold twist, man, is when this baboso 6'9", right, went mainstream as a sangre, a fake ass sangre at that, right? He was never part of no blood gang, man. He was getting used, abused, and vato, this vato was getting taxed and relaxed, when he was hanging around with those bloods in New York. Now, of course, being of a Mexicano descent, this vato 6'9", I'm not going to sit here and say I felt some type of way. You're a product of your environment. I've said it many times over. I've met norteños that are Africanos. I've met sureños that are, or Southsiders that are Africanos, excuse my French, right? I've met Southsiders that are Africanos. I've met Crips that are Mexicanos and Bloods that are Mexicanos. And everybody I met had a lot of bark and a whole lot of bite to that bite, right? A lot of fucking chew. They were with that business. They went a little bit harder than others. But nowadays, it's become mainstream with vatos like 6'9", becoming a sangre. And you know what? They don't want to go back to their roots. They're not trying to identify with their people. Now, I understand you're a product of your environment. Where you grew up and what you see is what you're going to become. That's fine and dandy, man. Hey, if I grew up with a whole bunch of Crips, I'd be crippin', right? Probably more than likely slipping into clipping and getting to spitting. But at the same time, I grew up in a norteño dominant area. And that's the way I leaned. If I grew up down south, ¿sabes qué? Sur on mine, right? If I grew up in Fresno, you know what I mean? I would have been biting motherfuckers' ankles off like a perro, chato. But at the same time, I could understand and identify with that. But what's going on now? What's going on now is something different. See, it's a movement. It's a movement that the raza's not catching on to, and I'm here to put you up on game. I'm here to give you a little clecha. I'm here to give you a little knowledge that you can't get in college. I'm here to put some paint where there ain't. So I'm going to make these power moves wearing shower shoes. If I slip, so it's good. Then you got me, you get me, right? It's all good in the hood. But at the same time, I am going to speak my mind and speak facts. The fact is that a lot of these youngsters nowadays think it's cool and mainstream to become a blood. Now, bloods were never the dominant group back in my days. The Crips were the dominant group for the Africanos, like I said. Norteños and Sureños, you already know the Southsiders, man, had a lock on that. Norteños, but we were striving, though. We were like this, whoa, we, yo, Norteño, right? We were getting our issue straight up. And I'm not here to belittle anyone or talk shit. I'm here at the same time to tell you every warrior was fighting for that next day. Every warrior was fighting for the establishment of their people, their raza, their gente, their kin, whatever you wanted to call it. At the end of the day, we was rocking. We was rolling. Every liquor store, every telephone pole, everybody knew exactly what the Norteño, the Sureño, and the Crip and Blood movement meant to everybody. The white boys, I'm going to sprinkle you in for flavor. They was doing their thing in a woodpile fashion. Now, Trip, Asians, you already know, respects. You know what I mean? You guys don't stop. You guys shoot people. So that's good. We leave it like that, allegedly. Now, look, what I've noticed just in the past 5 years, bloods are becoming the dominant group. And not only with the Africana community, but within the Raza community as well. You know, I'm not going to speak on Sacramento politics, but I will say this. You know, there has been whispers, there has been people saying that, you know, there's a lot of Norteño hoods or Norteños that are actually flipping to Sangrias. Okay, that's not the case, man. I spoke on it a long time ago in one of my spills. Not all hoods, not all Norteños are switching over to becoming Sangrias, but a lot of these youngsters are going the Sangre route before they ever become Norteños, which is minimizing the manpower and the soldado recruiting, the recruitments towards the gente. Now, it's not, gangbanging is gangbanging, okay? I'm not here to say if you're not a Norteño, you're all bad. If you're not a Southsider, you're all bad because you should be with us and not them. Chale, it ain't a us and them thing, right? It's a right is right and a wrong is wrong thing. And what's right is at least learn your history, learn your culture, learn where you're from, man. You're watering us down, gente. You're watering us down. So it's good. People are having an identity crisis and they're losing their identity. They're losing their cultura. Now, I'm not saying you have to wear baggy-ass dickies and bands. Charlie Holmes, hey, Sasuke, Hyenas ain't feeling that nowadays. Sasuke, the ones I do, fuck with, they do. You know what I mean? If you should lose me, Sasuke, un chicana, un torta, Arby's. You know what I mean? You know what it is. You know what I mean? She's like, play, I'm your puppet, pull strings, and I wink, I'm your puppet, right? It's on the Kraken. But nowadays, it seems like these youngsters, this different era, are leaning more towards the Sangres, right? I don't know how it came about. It went mainstream. I started to notice, you know, people like Lil Wayne started all of a sudden raving a red paño. People like Messi Marv, all of a sudden, they were a blood. People like, the Ratone himself, 69, all of a sudden, he was a fucking blood. Birdman was a blood. Fucking Little Blood was a blood. Or was he? You know what I mean? One never knows, does one. Of course not. He was from the Bay, Oakland. But you know what I'm saying? It became mainstream. One blood, 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 blood. I was like, good Lord, blood everywhere, right? Where I was used to the Crips being the dominant group. I'm not even seeing the Crips like that ever since. Well, you know, I got to give shout out and love to Nipsey Hussle rolling with them 60s. He kind of put that back on the map. But other than that, and of course the 5-5 career, you know what I mean? Everything's going to see all right, gun, right? That cat right there has made it mainstream again. The Crips are always going to be there, man. They don't die. They just multiply. They're maintaining. But I'm saying this blood, this mass confusion that's got a lot of people mixed up thinking that they're bloods, right? It's crazy. Now, I'm not going to knock the blood gang at all, man. I'm a true believer, and if you're out there getting it, man, get it the way you got it, right? No doubt about it, man. Respects. I've always had a lot of respect for the Sangres because they, just like us, were short. They were short in numbers, and every Sangre I ever ran around, man, had them hands, and he put it down, man. None of them ever bowed down. No, they didn't. Plain and simple, period. And I've been locked up and incarcerated with a lot of Sangres, and I can say they're a very respectful adversary because they were adversaries for the most part everywhere I was at. And the ones that were cool were down for their shit. Even the adversaries were down for their shit, man. You can't knock the op. You got to respect them, or they wouldn't be the op. I've already told you guys that. I gave you that game. This is new game. I'm starting to notice, right? A lot of young Mexicanos talking about their Sangres or bloods, but they ain't never been nowhere. They don't come from a blood neighborhood. They ain't never fucking been around some real Sangres out of South Central, out of San Diego, you know what I mean? Out of anywhere. Motherfuckers that are really out there getting it, that are true believers in their cause. Yes, the Sangres have a cause. You know, they were an oppressed people at some point in time, and everybody springs their organization, man, from some type of oppression or from some type of wanting to get more for their people. Now, all these youngsters that are seeing it on TV, hey, Lil Wayne's a blood, so I'm a blood. Hey, 6ix9ine, Chuchi. All of a sudden, they want to be a blood, right? It ain't cool. What you're doing is you're watering down the Sangre movement. What you're doing is you're watering down your people. Now, if a whole bunch of young Africanos want to do that, they're going to feel the repercussions for their actions, man. If they're claiming, falsifying, false flagging, claiming a hood that they're not from, their people will deal with them. Yes, you're not going to go in the penitentiary in the California Department of Corrections, or I believe any Department of Corrections from any state, and be false flagging without getting discovered. You know, when you're discovered, there will be repercussions for your actions, and your mentality is going to be all fucked up. But I thought I was a blood. You thought you were, right? That's the key. That's the point right there. But I wore a red paño. What'd you wear? I didn't wear a paño, right? Of course, they're not with that. But you got now young Mexicanos and young Chicanos, Latinos, that are starting to go that route. You know, quietly as it's kept, a lot of people are going to dispute this. They're going to leave comments. Well, what's the problem with being what you want to be? You could be anything you want to be. You could be all that you can be, right? You could do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, at the end of the day, man, don't forget what you are. Don't forget the history of the people, the proud people that you come from. Okay? Hey, as being a Mexicano, a Chicano, a brown person, man, I'm always going to recognize that first and foremost of what I am in the history of my people and what they've went through to get over here in this beautiful country to make things happen, right? For their familias and for us as a gente. We've been through a lot of struggles. The Chicano movement, you know, a lot of oppression, a lot of depression, a lot of compression. You know what I mean? We've been through a whole lot. And at the same time, it seems like all this younger generation is forgetting that. Now, I'm not knocking everyone. I don't hate the youngsters, man. I got nothing but respect for them. They're going to keep on keeping on, man. And for that, I got to say, that's the utmost respect. I got to give it to you. They're making moves in the music industry more than we did. They're kicking down doors. We kick down doors, man, to steal your VCR. They're kicking down doors to steal your hearts. That's cool, you know. What I got a problem with is this cloud chasing movement that people are not really knowing about, man. They're just getting on it because it's mainstream now. Being a blood has become mainstream all of a sudden. And this is no disrespect to the real Sangrias that are out there pushing for theirs. I'm just telling it how it is, and I'm keeping it realer than real. Tell the truth. But no, don't do the cucaracha. Tell the truth. Sit down here. I'm so disgusted, right? Sit down here and listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth when I say, don't you see it? A lot of young Raza think they're bloods all of a sudden. What happened to the Cholo movement? What happened to the Pride? What happened to the lowriders, to the Raza, to the car clubs, to the beautiful Aztec women that we have? What happened to this? Now all of a sudden, it's cornrows, it's gold teeth, it's blood. Come on, man. I have nothing against my Africano brothers. I love them to death, man. I got nothing but good gente, good people. I got familia that are Africano pushing like, what's up, blood, right? They're with the business, but they're the real deal. They're the real, they believe. They're true believers. All these young bucks that are coming up talking about blood gang on gang, on the dead homies on gang. What do you want, a gangbang? You know, you want your dead homies to gangbang you? I don't understand. I guess I'm just a little too old. I guess the whiskers in my chinny chin chin are a little too great for me to understand the concept of what's going on nowadays. A lot of people say, man, you're old and you're out the way. Okay, well, I'm still here. I'm still here. I ain't out the way yet. Until I'm out the way, I will voice my opinion. My opinion says this. As a people, as a gente, we need to educate our youngsters. Not to flip and flop, but we need to educate our youngsters into remembering where they come from and their culture, their history. Now, ain't nothing wrong with identifying with another culture. All cultures are beautiful. And make sure you say that, because I know there's going to be a lot of comments that say, Gun, you're trying to hate on this and that. I ain't trying to hate on no one, man. I ain't got no time to hate. So let's get watch out. It ain't time to hate. It's time to motherfucking debate if you want to do that. It's time to be great. It's time to be prosperous. It's time to have that propensity to prosper and make that happen and get that bolsita. Because that's what it's all about. We're all trying to get that bag. Some a little bit further than others. Some a little bit more aggressive than others, right? But we're not going to fake and be fraudulent in what we do and how we do it. Okay, so I'm starting to notice a lot of Raza wanting to become bloods. It's just a phenomenon. I think it's just something that's going to pass. I think when they get incarcerated and they really see what it's about and they see that they're not accepted because you ain't really with that business, they're going to fucking falter at the right? Like the Mario Brothers, they're going to fucking fade away. That's just what it is. Anyways, it's something that I've noticed. It's something that as a people, we need to pay attention to. We need to instill education into our gente. We need to be out there watching what they're doing, our young children, man, because they're getting influenced by this hip hop generation. They're getting influenced by this social media generation. They're becoming social media gang members, social media gangbangers. They're being what they see on TV. So they're not products of their environment like real ones. You know, back in the days, if there was a Mexicano Sangre or Mexicano Cripa, he was with the fucking activity. Shout out to the homeboy Bullet from Merced Gangster Crips. Real talk. Sitting on death row. He's off death row now. Homie, he's at that linea like, but he did what he did for his hood. And he represented to the fullest. And I can say right here, firsthand and foremost, he was a real one about the gangbang. But you got a lot of these youngsters, they're like, hey, he's a blood. They're all from North Carolina and shit. He's a blood. Hey, I like the guys in California because it's becoming mainstream. You're being influenced. This is being indoctrinated in your mind, you know? So it's up to us as Raza, as parents, as fucking civilians, as fucking grown adults to watch what our kids are doing, man, and prevent them from gangbanging on the internet. Now, if they want to go out there in the calles and put it down for their hood, of course, you know, if you're a good, righteous parent, man, you're going to try to detour that. But at the same time, they're going to be what they be. And that's just what it do. But I will say this. They're being heavily influenced. It's time for us as a people to stand up and watch what's going on. Because everybody wants to be a one blood, right? And they don't even know what that entails, man. There's a lot of rules, regulations, man, and history that goes into that. Learn your historia and be a real one if you're going to be one. I'm just saying though. Anyways, with that being said, man, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you go out there and get everything that you want. If you want that bag, there's a bag out there. Go get it. So don't take it, just get it. You know what I mean? Don't take it, don't even fake it. Just make it. You can get that if you want that. If you like what I'm spitting right here, I know a lot of people don't, but you get it, that like and subscribe, thumbs up one time for your mind. I appreciate you so much, gente. There's a notification bell. Tap that one time. You'll be notified every time I drop a spill. It's different every day. It's real every day. That's what I speak. That's what I spit. That is for reals, man. No added preservatives. If you don't like it, of course, there's an option for you too. You can put that thumbs down. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm still going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in, man. Shouts out and respects to all my Africano brothers, man. This is a black and brown thing. I said it before and I'll say it again. There's no disrespect here when it comes to the blood movement. I'm just saying, man, I respect the real and the fake. You ain't got nothing coming. Bang, bang.